respected gerontologist Alex Comfort found that as he studied aging, that only 25% of what we consider aging is actual physical and mental changes. The rest is absolutely the result of harmful negative stereotypes. And nowhere are those destructive stereotypes more prevalent than in the media, which is why our next guest has made it her life purpose to try to knock down those stereotypes in her fabulous magazine for women over 40. One of my favorite magazines, by the way. And then joining Dr. Dale Atkins, psychologist, Reverend Susan Sparks, and the lovely Ellen Burstyn, and me is Moore's director, Barbara Adair.
Executive editor.
Executive editor. What did I say?
I take all the credit.
What did I say?
Oh, you know, it doesn't matter. Director.
You said that you were telling me in makeup that you were a journalist and you actually quit doing that because you felt this was a mission.
I aged out. For about 20 years I was a journalist. I have been a journalist. And about 2 years ago I felt that I was starting to work for people who were 23 and 25 years old, and that was very strange. It's not just Hollywood where, you know, ageism comes into play. And so I thought I should start a new career, and I actually signed up to go back to school to get an MA in psychology. And then I got a call from More magazine, and it sort of brought me right back into where I was, but with purpose this time, because I can actually relate to the people we're writing about. I have ideas for the people we're writing about. So it made a huge difference.
Again, that word authentic. Okay, weigh in. I want to hear what you all think about these magazines and the movies and media out there right now.
I want to comment about something you said, because it's really what you said. And when you detach and when you let go of what you thought you were supposed to do and what you were doing, and you give yourself the opportunity to do what you really would love to do, it does come to you. Yeah. And I think it's about risk-taking, and I think it's about giving yourself the opportunity to be open to what the next stage of your life is, not defined by someone else, but defined by your talents and your gifts.
From within,
yes.
Not by that silly, popular, ever-changing culture that's trying to get you to buy stuff.
That's right.
Well, I think your point about risk-taking is really important. As a matter of fact, in my book, I have a whole story about Lee Strasberg, when I first went to him, who taught me that I didn't have to be so safe. That you have to be willing to make a mistake in order to grow, to take the next step. And I think risk-taking is a really good thing to learn.
Absolutely. I do too. And men and women both need to take the risks because that they might not have been able to because they had so many people depending on them when they were younger, but now they can.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the women that we feature in More magazine are midlife women, 40 plus and only 40 plus. And these women have had children. Now they own houses. They've maybe reached a place in their career where they've got some disposable income, and they're wondering how to reinvent themselves. Yes. What are they going to do? Plus, they've got the experience and confidence to do so. And it's really thrilling to talk to some of the people, whether they're in Hollywood or just regular folks, about how they've reached this point in their lives and they feel free to do whatever they can. What's really interesting now is that the ad companies are actually catching on to the fact that women over 40 are a very marketable group. They're interested, they buy cars, they buy cosmetics, et cetera, et cetera. And you see older women, famous actresses like Diane Keaton and a number of others. Halle Berry just turned 40, so we can throw her in there now. And that's a profound change, I think.
There's a woman named Lydia Bronte who wrote a book a few years ago called The Longevity Factor. And she said, in our lifetime, people have added 15 years onto their lives, but they haven't added them onto the end, they've added them onto the middle. So that middle age now lasts much longer. Right. So what used to be 65 is now 80 years old.
Let's talk more about the beauty ads. I got to be with Oprah and Diane Sawyer last week at an event, and Diane and I are the same age, and we were talking about, and of course Oprah celebrates this too. I so salute her in that. But we are seeing these women who are changing our culture now.
Well, More has inaugurated, when it first came out 7 years ago, the More Model Search. And we're just about to enter the 7th annual Model Search. And it's for women only 40 plus. The women apply from across the country, from all walks of life. There's no restriction on health, size, weight.
No restriction on weight? That's That's nice.
Is there a cap on the over 40?
No, I think we actually interview as many applicants as possible. We've been doing that over the country for the last several months. It's a great thing, and it's really about the fact that women are sexy and beautiful, whatever age they are.
And I nominate Ellen.
There you go. Me too. Many women sort of testify about how this experience has changed their lives.
Yeah.
Not because they win or they became a finalist or anything like that. It's because it really empowered them, you know?
I like being with like-minded people here. Well, up next, it's not just women who are becoming more aware of how to age gracefully. You're going to meet a guy who wanted to show the whole world that he can be fitter than ever after the age of 50. So he set the national record for the most skydives performed in one day. We should just be wearing pajamas, just having a pajama party here. Feet pajamas with their feet?
Yeah. Feety pajamas.
You know what? I like my flannel pajama. I've got Victoria's Secret stuff, but give me the flannel.
No.
I'm a 100% cotton kind of gal. Okay, now I'm back with my script. Here are my sidekicks, Dr. Dale Atkins, Susan Sparks, Ellen Burston, and executive editor of More Magazine, Barbara O'Dare. And we've been giggling and talking about aging gratefully and gracefully. And if I know one thing for sure about getting older, is that you cannot stop the river. So just go with the flow and enjoy every minute of it. And I may not get to control all the physical changes that come with it, but I'm in control of my reactions. That's my point of power. That's everything. And I've got a kindred spirit in this next story. We're going to see a guy who certainly knows the folks over 50 are fierce. Let's check this guy out. He believes in taking risks.
That's right. I've made a little over 16,000 skydives in my lifetime, and I'm going to continue jumping until they put me away. Plenty of time to rest once we're finished with everything in life. My name is Jay Stokes. I am 50 years young, and I skydive for a living. The number 50 is just that, it's a number. I can't do as much as I could when I was 20 or 30, but I can do things that people in their 20s can't do. At this point in time, I believe that as long as I stay physically fit, jumping on into my 90s by myself is going to be just fine. I paid for these wrinkles, every one of them, and I'm very proud of these wrinkles.
The oldest person that we've taken on a skydive is 94. We get a lot of senior citizens. It's always the last thing on their list in their life that they've never got to do that they want to do.
Been wanting to jump for years, but chance just never came up.
I've probably jumped in excess of 130 times with people that are over the age of 50.
I never dreamed I would ever do anything like this.
It's always good to have my mom do something. Get her out of the house, get her off the telephone.
And I told him if I don't make it, I'll go on to the Lord, so it doesn't matter one way or another.
We're all good.
Never been dressed like this before by
You've
me.
never been dressed by a man before?
Well, I don't feel old really, only when I can't do things and I know I'm limited.
Push your arms through there and there. Beautiful. Okay.
But other than that, my mind, I still feel young.
I love you.
The reason I encourage older people to jump is because when they go up and make a skydive, they feel more alive than they have in years.
I expect a thrill. I hope, anyhow.
Everybody's looking for something. Everybody's looking to change things or how things are. And I can't think of a better way to do that than to make a jump. The best part about jumping is every single part of it. A lot of times those first free falls are very overwhelming because everything's going at you at 120 miles an hour. But then again, that's what I like. I like that speed. And it's all legal. I can do 120 miles an hour and it's illegal. Most tandem students, like Helen, would like the canopy flight better because it's more quiet, serene, you can hear things, you can talk.
Sing all God's country, how beautiful it is.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Would you do it again?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I want to do that.
I know.
I've always wanted to skydive. Now I see they're doing it. I definitely want to do it.
Yay!
Yeah.
Let's all do it.
You know, that woman said that she doesn't feel old, and this is the most important issue. It's about an attitude, and people look at people who are older, and they have an impression. And if you look back at them with life behind your eyes, you challenge their view of you. And she said, I don't feel old, and you feel young, and you can do anything that you choose to. There's something I want to mention. The skydiver who was instructing said he couldn't do things that he could do when he was 20, but he could do things now that he didn't do before. You have to give up and deal with the loss of what you don't do anymore.
Say more about that.
You have to
Because
deal with the
there
loss.
is loss. We've got to
Aging
integrate
is about
that.
loss. It's about welcoming that which is new, but you have to have space. So you deal with the loss, you see what your body can't do anymore, and you do what you can do.
You know what I loved about this is they're folks that are willing to take a risk, you know? And especially as you age, I think people back off of risk. For my 40th birthday, I decided I was going to learn to surf. So I took myself to surfing camp down in Mexico and learned to surf and had a blast and came back and I thought, you know, I need to use this in the pulpit. So I wrote a sermon about how the Gospels and surfing parallel, and it was called Hang 10 for Jesus. You know? So it's adventure, it's risk-taking, you know? You got to do it. You got
Well,
to
I
do
want to acknowledge, too, those of you who may not be regular viewers may not know that Susan's dealing with breast cancer. And anybody who's in our special little club that has faced death, you know, you really live more fully in the moment, don't you think?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Well, I'm all for it. I've had knee replacements, so I thought I couldn't do it, but those people look to me like they're, you know, not as healthy as I am, so I want to go for it.
More Magazine started a marathon not long ago, and we get the most amazing group of people over 40, I mean, up till 80 or further. And, you know, they have such a feeling of accomplishment. It's unbelievable. And it's a really moving moment. I mean, a lot of us are crying at the finish line, watching people come in and being so excited that they've done this.
A lot of people get hardening of the arteries and hardening of the attitudes, too.
Well, that's the
You
thing.
don't have to do either one. Well, there's one more part of Jay's story that I want you to see. Our skydiver is really the poster boy for aging gracefully. He's reinventing himself by giving back, and best of all, he's doing it all for his family.
It was Jay's idea to jump into the Statue of Liberty. This was the official kickoff for Jay's fundraiser for Special Olympics.
I selected the Special Olympics as my favorite charity because my son, Nicky, my middle son, he's 26 now, he has cerebral palsy. And he's been a Special Olympian on several occasions. He's one of my favorite people in life. Jumping with my son is a highlight of my career. It's such a great feeling just having him there with me, being a part of that jump with him, sharing that experience with my son. It's the best thing that I can do with my life. On 8 and 9 September, with the help of about 125 of my closest friends, we did a jump for charity, and we accomplished 640 skydives in 24 hours. 640 jumps in 24 hours equates to one jump every 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Our fastest time, by the way, was 1 minute and 54 seconds. Things that you do in life that have to have meaning. So the next time out, I said, let's raise some money for some charities. On behalf of the Most Jumps 2006 record attempt, on the 8th and 9th of September 2006, we'd like to donate this check for $9,695.58 to the Special Olympics of Indiana. Thank you very much for all your support.
Thank you all so much for being here. This has been enlightening and uplifting. And we're going to give gift certificates for skydiving to everybody. If you want to find out more about my new book about all this, Aging Gratefully, or share one of your own stories about how you're embracing growing older with passion, go to our website. We're at faithstreams.com. Just click on our message board. And speaking of passion, are you one of those people who are convinced that falling in love only happens to the young? Nah, get over it. Get ready to have an attitude adjustment because you're going to meet two folks who are living proof it is never too late to find your soulmate. focusing on the importance of enjoying every single stage of our lives and just saying no to the media propaganda that tries to persuade us every day that getting older means that life's over. Well, my next guests say they couldn't be happier about getting older because they were destined to have a late-in-life love affair. This is a love story. Please welcome Bob and Ann Owens. Look at this. You're hugging her, you're patting his knee. Go get a room. Oh. I want to hear how you met.
We met in France in 1959 in Châteauroux.
And how old
at
were
a
you?
snack bar. I was 18 years old.
That sounds so romantic. Oh, at a snack bar on, how do you say it?
Châteauroux.
Châteauroux.
Air Base. I was in the Air Force.
Okay.
She was a dependent high school student.
And what happened when you met? I mean,
Oh, yes, it was really like that. I fell in love with him right away. He was so wonderful. We laughed together. We were serious together. Everything just meshed. It really did.
and what happened next? You got engaged.
We
but
did. We got engaged, but my mother said no. She said, you cannot marry him.
She broke up the engagement.
She did. She broke it up.
And then,
Then she pushed me into marriage with another man.
oh boy.
And she made me feel like I had no choice. And I married him.
And you married somebody else, and
Yes, she did. And the day she got married, well, I got an invitation to the wedding, which I never attended.
Nice.
She never knew that. But the day she got married, I was standing across the street on the air base from the chapel behind some shrubbery and bushes, and I saw her come out of the church. Excuse me.
oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Get in the car and drive away.
And it was his birthday.
Yeah, it was
It
my
was
birthday.
his birthday. That was the last that we saw of each other.
For
45 years. And in that 45 years' time, I never stopped loving this man with all my heart. My marriage lasted a very short time. And the funny thing was every Bob I'd meet, I'd fall in love with him. I had 4 sons. I wanted to name each one of them Bob, but I couldn't do that because I knew, that wasn't the thing to do. He's always been the love of my life. He's been my soulmate.
And I had questions I wanted answered. I didn't know why.
You didn't know that it was her mother?
No,
that
I had
broke
no
you up?
idea why we broke up. So for more than 44 years, I looked. I was always I was stubborn. I wanted those answers. And for several years, I was looking on the internet and on classmates.com. And one night, 2005, her maiden name appeared, and I fell out the chair. And I was emailing constantly, and it took months before she replied. And
That little earthquake you felt between West Virginia and Hawaii, that was us falling off of our chairs when we saw each other's
45
name.
years. But
Oh,
I
yes.
understand that you literally carried each other's pictures in your wallets for 45 years.
the same picture.
Yes, the same picture.
Was it a prom picture or something?
Yes.
or-
May the
Mine.
20th, 1960.
It was my
Yeah.
senior class prom.
Yeah.
How does do you speak to her mother?
No,
No. Now?
but
Yeah.
Oh, her mother's
my mother's
deceased.
passed away. But when we were dating, there was never any sexual. It was all from the heart.
Yeah.
Complete soulmates.
You said soul to soul.
And now that we've gotten together in our 60s, you know the other earthquake that you've been feeling? Age has nothing to do with this, I tell you.
Yeah,
It's pretty awesome.
Wait,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Oh,
but I
that's-
just wanna-
okay.
It's the Hallmark show. It's
Yeah,
a
right.
Hallmark channel. Okay, but go ahead. It's all right.
I had accepted that part of my life was over. I could still go out and garden and mow the grass, but that was and hunt, but that was over with.
We thought that went by the wayside with aging, but it doesn't, believe me.
Believe me, it doesn't.
They complement each other very well.
I'm sorry. I wasn't really expecting this.
Ooh,
Okay.
I wasn't either.
Neither one of us.
I have we literally have a new lease on life at our age.
45 years
Yes.
was worth the wait. It was a rest period, I think. It was nice.
Yes. Oh, I'll tell you.
You know, from that, what an encyclopedic range of emotions you all have felt. From standing outside of the church, crying in the bushes when she had to bury somebody else. To,
Yeah. She never knew that until we contacted each
what
family.
did that
each
feel
other
like
again.
when he told you that story?
Oh, I was devastated. If I had seen him, that wouldn't have ended there. It wouldn't have taken 45 years. I would have been right there knowing. It just made me cry.
So you
It
wanted
was
to be the
tough.
guy in the back of the church that said, if anybody has any reason why this man won, you wanted to go, heck yes, stop
I
it.
thought of that, what was that movie, Mrs. Robertson? When he was in I thought of that over many years, but you know, it's never too late, never give up.
Oh,
And
yes.
being stubborn, as I was, and wanted those questions answered all the years, it
Better
finally
late than
paid
never.
off.
Well, thank you all so much for being on, and we'll get you the honeymoon suite at the hotel. Coming up, you're gonna find you can heat them up. She said they're gonna heat up that room. Okay, we better move on here. Coming up, you're gonna find out why age really is just a number, and why you and I might actually be younger or older than the number of birthdays. Stay with us. Giggle butts over here today, sorry. Did you know that genetics accounts for only 30% of how we age is heredity? This means, according to my mathematical genius, that 70% of how we age is up to our behavior and everyday lifestyle choices. Wow, that makes me feel good. No, it's not scary, it's good.
I'm thinking my life.
These facts are behind a fascinating new test that you get to take to figure out your real age, to see if you're younger, older, or the same as your chronological age. Now, earlier, our sidekicks, Dr. Dale Atkins and Reverend Susan Sparks, who really doesn't do drugs and drink and have risky behavior, believe me, I know her, they agreed to take the real age test, and I've got the results.
But keep them to yourself.
Oh, we tell everything on this show. So you're 44.
44.
Your age came out to be 36.
Really?
Your real age came out to be 36 because you make good lifestyle choices.
Wow, that's the short version of the test, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because you take care of yourself, you're very athletic, you exercise, you eat well, except for those Big Macs I see.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think the diet question, you talk about telomeres, I believe it is in your book, about factors that cause aging, diet, alcohol, smoking, and you know, I was waiting for that question on the test about, do you own a fry daddy? You know, something like that. I was like, they didn't ask it, so I'm okay, you know.
And you're 54?
I'm 58. I'll be 59 in April. Yeah.
You go.
So you're 58. Yours, came out 8 years younger, too.
Good.
Right.
Good. Okay.
Hey, Dale.
I'm not buying a fry daddy.
So remember what I'm saying, it's really about our everyday choices. It's little stuff like, do we floss, do we wear our seat belt, do we get vaccinations, all that obvious stuff.
And how you think about things.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's not
Very
just
much.
what you do, it's how you think about things and how you interpret things that are going on in your life. You don't have to take everything on as a burden in your life. You can change your attitude not only about aging, but about the way you are going to live your life.
I'm 60 and mine came out 12.
I thought I was
Nice.
And if you want to take this test, it's pretty interesting. Go to our faithstreamwebsites.com. I want to hear final thoughts now. This has been a lively show.
Yeah, you know, I was watching the show and I thought, it reminds me of the Will Rogers quote, we can slow down aging if we would make it work its way through Congress.
Ah!
You know?
That's for sure.
I thought that just what it reminded me of.
That's for sure. I was so inspired by the stories because I think aging is really about being inspired. And when you see people who are your models, and you look to people who are older and wiser as your models, you see that there are unlimited possibilities. And that's really what life is about. You know, when you look back on your life, you want to look at your life and say, what did I contribute? What was the meaning? What can I still do? And if you're always asking yourself that question, what can I still do? You'll age gratefully, gracefully, and you know, you'll have a good time and laugh.
The best is yet to come.
On the way to the studio this morning, I saw this guy, little guy with gray hair driving real slow, and I'm thinking, no, I want to cram every second and every moment. And we're going to have my new book, Aging Gratefully, Facts, Myths, and Good News for Boomers for everybody out there in the audience. Thank you so much, Dr. Dale Atkins, Susan Sparks for being here, and also to the beautiful Ellen Burstyn and all of my other guests for being real enough to share their inspiring stories. Now, you know, you may have decided who's going to get your valuables, your money, your property, your house, even your organs, but I'm going to leave you with this thought. What about leaving your values? Your values, as well as your valuables, are meant to be passed on to the next generation. And I think, personally, that one of the greatest legacies we baby boomers can leave to the next generation is to teach them to respect their elders. That's for you, Mom. Pass on to your loved ones your ethical will, because where there's a will, there's a way. And thank you so much for spending your morning with us this morning. Come back next Sunday and see us. I'm Naomi Judd, reminding you, my mind is always open, my door is never closed, and there's always going to be room for you right here at my table.